Okay, so for example 2, the discrete random variable x has probability function px given in the table below and giving you that ex equals to 1.75. Okay, so we need to find out a and b values. Okay, a is the value you can take for x and b is the probability. So we'll work out b first because 0.15 plus 0.1 plus 0.3 plus b plus 0.2, that should give you 1. Yeah, that should give you 1. And I believe b should equals to 0.25. Is that what you work out? Well, I hope everyone tried the question already. Okay. Okay, just pretend it's 0.25. And by using that value, we're trying to work out a. So negative 2 times 0.15 plus a times 0.1 plus 2 times 0.3 plus 5 times b, which is 0.25 plus 8 times 0.2. That should give you 1.75. That's the way how you find expected values. And I think a workout should be negative 14. If you do the calculation, a should be negative 14. Okay, something needs to be aware of is the things is not in right order now. Can you see the order is incorrect because negative 2 and then negative 14 is incorrect order. So in this question, whether you swap it or you don't swap it, it not make a difference because the number are good. But if the number are like on purpose to make it like you need to swap it, they can put some values. It's not affecting other things, it's affecting median. Okay, it's affecting median. So median require you replace the things into the correct order. So well, I see negative 14. What I will do is I write negative 14 and with probability 0.1. And then ignore that table here. So that should be my first value. Okay, that should be my first value. I need to change the order to make negative 14 in front of negative 2. But in this question, it doesn't really affect any solution. It's alright if you don't swap. But you need to realize, okay, it should be on the left-hand side. Okay, B is asking for median. So if it's asking for median, we add 0.1 and 0.2. That 0.1 plus 0.15, that gives me 0.25. It's not 0.5 yet. But if you add another 0.3, that gives you 0.55, which is over 0.5. So 2 will be the mode. 2 is the median. Yeah, 2 is the median. So 0.25, not the median, and then plus 0.3 is 0.55. So 2 is the median. Okay, C asks you what is the mode. Well, mode is the highest, x value is the highest probability, which is highest probability 0.1, 0.5, 0.3, 0.25, 0.2. So 2 is the mode as well. Now 2 is the median and the mode. Okay, D is asking for variance. D is asking for variance. Variance x equals to expected x squared minus mu squared. Well, mu is given, which is 1.75. So it's expected ex squared equals to what? Okay, expected x squared equals to minus 14 squared times 0.1 plus negative 2 squared times 0.15 plus 2 squared times 0.3 plus 5b 8.2. Okay, so 5 squared times 0.25 plus 8 squared times 0.2. Okay, so square all the values, all the x values. So for negative 14 square, negative 2 square, 2 square, 5 square, and 8 square. and times its own probability. Okay, so what I have is 14 squared times 0.1 plus 4 times 0.15 plus 4 times 0.3 plus 25 times 0.25 plus 64 times 0.2. I hope I get this right. 142258. 142258.1.25.5.5. Okay, I think I get this right. Enter. I got 40.45. So expect x squared is 40.45. And then variance x will be 40.45 minus 1.75 squared. That gives you 37.3875. Okay, that's the variance x. Okay, A, B, C, D, E. E is what's variance negative x? Well, variance negative x is -1 squared variance x. So it's the same as variance x. So it's the same value here. Variance negative x and variance x, they are the same thing. Okay, they are the same thing. F is asking what's variance 3x plus 1. 3x plus 1. Linear transformation is 9 variance x. It's 9 variance x. 3 squared variance x. Well, times that value by 9 is 336.4875. That's variance 3x plus 1. G is standard deviation x. And H is standard deviation minus 2x minus 1. Well, standard deviation x is the square root of variance x. And that's the square root of 37.3875. But for this question, I shouldn't give actually approximate values. I should keep things in exact form. Like, if the question doesn't say how many decimals I want, you need to keep things in exact form. Otherwise, you lose the answer mark. Okay, you lose the answer mark. Remember, like your previous SAC, like a lot of you just approximated. I actually only lose 1 mark for the entire paper, but actually you will lose all the answer marks for every single question you do that. It's not really a rounding problem. Okay, I'm more generous. Just lose 1 for the entire paper, but it's actually every time you round it, you lose the answer mark because it's incorrect answer. Well, in this case, I will just round it because I don't want to carry a large number, so I want to talk about something important here. What I'll do here, I will round it to 2 decimal places, 2.11. Okay, 2.11. 6.11. Sorry, 6.11. Okay. After I round it, I have something really important to say here. 2 standard deviation x, right? 2 standard deviation. SD minus 2x minus 1 is absolute negative 2 as standard deviation x, which is 2 SDX. Okay, it's 2 lots of that. But you can't use the rounding value. You can't use the rounding value, because if you use the rounding value, you can, maybe it's like some error, like 1 decimal wrong. So you need to use the exact. Okay, you exact times 2. Exact times 2. What we get round to 2 decimal is 12.23, right? 12.23. Okay, if you write this, that will be incorrect. Even though in the end you get a correct answer, but it's not following your working. Okay, your working gives 12.22, not 12.23. I know it should be 12.23, I understand, but like your working doesn't support your answer. So that's incorrect as well. So you need to use exact to give accurate value first. Second, you need to give proper working. So 6.11 only work for that question. So if you ask to write the calculations, what you should write is give more decimals, maybe 11.45. And then if you calculate that and then round to decimals, you should have 12.23. Okay, you should have 12.23. It's not 6.11 times 2 give you 12.23. It's actually the whole, everything times by 2 give you 12.23. But if you give more decimals and when you round this answer, you will have 12.23, and that's the correct working and correct answer. So you need to be careful with that. Other than that, any questions for this page? Well, the previous page and the next pages all talk about the same type of questions. It's just give you in the graph form and in the function form. The next page one, well, if you're really confident about what you can, like whether you know how to do it or not, you don't need to do the last page. The number is really big, and it's basically you need to use your calculator. You need to use your calculator. So don't worry about that much. So any questions for this one? Okay, if you don't have any questions, go back. If you haven't finished example 1, try to do example 1 first. And if you have some question wrong for example 2, have a think about that. And tomorrow bring your stuff to class and you have time to work on textbook questions. Okay, I'm not going to do teaching tomorrow.